Ever since his rise to power in the early 20th century, Adolf Hitler has remained as one of the most well-known historical figures of all time. Although this is no surprise due to the impact his regime has had on our world to this day, it has also led to a somewhat bizarre market for items related to him. Today, we will be looking at a selection of items which were very well acquainted with the dictator in his most private moments. I should preface this by saying I'm not against anyone collecting bits of history, and I do so myself. However, I think you'll agree that these particular items are odd to say the least. Enough circling the drain though, let's get to why you clicked on this video. Hitler's toilet. Why on earth anyone would want the porcelain throne of the tiny mustached man is beyond me, but someone apparently did. Stranger still is where the toilet wound up to begin with. Through some sequence of events, Hitler's private yacht, the Aviso Grile, found its way into a scrapyard in New Jersey. Destined for destruction, all hopes for toilet collectors everywhere were saved when a local purchased the toilet to use in a bathroom he was building for his auto shop in 1952. Whether the original owner knew of its origin or not, the next owner certainly did. Greg Kofelt, who up until 2015 likely used the toilet on a daily basis while on the job, definitely knows about its prior owner. Thankfully, he's not a neo-Nazi nutjob who praises the toilet like it's a saint, but he does acknowledge its history. As he reportedly told a team from Roadside America, "It's not something I'm proud of, but it exists. I use it to go to the bathroom." As the article I'm referencing for this goes on to say, it's hard to say if this toilet was in fact used by Hitler considering the size of the yacht it came from and the fact that there were likely many other toilets on the boat he could have used instead. Still, it's extremely ironic to think a man who once believed he could rule the world has his toilet end up belonging to a small business owner in America. Apparently, between 2012 or 2015, the toilet was finally removed from his shop to cross the sea to England, all expenses paid. This was after an offer from the UK TV show 4 Rooms for an all expenses paid trip for man and toilet. After this trip, both would return to the repair shop where the toilet now remains, albeit not in active service. You might think I'd end the video here, but believe it or not, this is not the only story relating to Hitler's bare posterior and bathroom facilities. Let's talk about a $15,000 toilet seat. You've likely heard about some of the trophies taken from Hitler's Bavarian home, also known as the Eagle's Nest. However, this was not the only one of his properties to be looted by the Allied forces, with another including his vacation home, the Berghof. You may have seen these two properties used interchangeably, but both were separate buildings, although they were fairly close to each other, which is likely the reason for this mix-up. Well, upon being told by his superiors to grab what you want, a US military policeman named Ragnvald Borsch did just that. Among his prizes were a World War I armored vest, 2 oil paintings, and, most relevant to this video, Hitler's toilet seat. After getting the strange prize back to the US, it was kept as a personal display in the basement of his New Jersey home. Quite odd that 2 of Hitler's bathroom items would end up in the same state, although I can't say I'm surprised it would be in New Jersey. The toilet seat would remain in possession of the family until it was put up for auction in 2021. This was far from the only weird item for sale in this auction, with others including a pair of Eva Braun's panties and 4 strands of Hitler's hair. Like I said earlier, I don't judge people for collecting historical items, but who the hell buys this stuff? According to one article, the undergarments sold for around $1,700 and the hairs nearly reaching $2,200. Both of these numbers pale in comparison to the unbelievable price the toilet seat managed to garner. When the bidding ended, the seat had sold for $15,000, which once you factor in the extra auction fees, came out to $18,750. At least it included the lid, I guess. Worry not though, if you manage to purchase both the nearly $20,000 toilet seat and the toilet from the yacht, you can not only use Hitler's toilet facilities, but for an additional $130 you can also wipe using a roll of Wehrmacht Edelweiss toilet paper. I'm sure if you dig around you can probably find more stuff like this, but frankly I think that's more than enough thinking about Hitler's ass for me for one day. I hope you guys enjoyed, well, maybe not enjoyed, but I hope you at least found this video interesting. I figured it might be entertaining to break from my usual videos to give you something a little silly for an April Fool's Day video. If you'd like to see me do something like this again next year, let me know down below and suggest a funny historical topic. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.